Welcome to the Necronama.com, where we're spending all of October looking at 31 episodes of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Today, we're looking at Treehouse 26 from October 25th, 2015. I am James Tabata.
I'm Don Guillory.
And I'm Thomas Brungardt.
We're up to 26.
Whew. Almost there.
Was there a reference in this intro? Because I didn't understand it. Was it like a Casper thing? And I just don't understand.
I focused more on, I didn't skip the intro. I didn't pull a James. But I don't remember the intro. Because the pieces stood out more to me than anything else.
Yeah, it was just like this weird like ghost thing. The animation looked like...
Yeah. I can't remember the cartoon that it looked like those 1940s, 1950s.
Yeah, it was like campy,
cartoons.
like Jetsons animation. I just didn't get the reference. I was hoping you guys maybe did, but
No.
Fair enough. We don't ever have to talk about it again.
The one thing I'll say about it is, like, there's such a much better Frank Grimes appearance later, and I feel like they really shouldn't have done this. There you go. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, the first part of the episode is Wanted Dead, Then Alive, where Sideshow Bob kills Bart and realizes his life has no real purpose without killing Bart. And so he devises a machine to reanimate Bart so he can kill him over and over again. So he'll kill him, reanimate him, kill him, reanimate him, so he can keep on going and going until Bart's chopped up body is discovered by Lisa. And then Bart, and Santa's little helper get the best of Bob, and all four of them, including Bart, mix up a bunch of things and turn Sideshow Bob into a weird creature that has horns, frog legs, a chicken body, a tail, and I think there was like even a booger was applied to it. So he ends up living his life out in academia as a hodgepodge of creatures.
I gotta say, I didn't think that it would summarize well, and somehow it was still funny to me. Well, I enjoyed this one, but I was like, when he talks about this is going to sound way dumber than it felt. And I still enjoyed the summary.
Did you guys enjoy all of the professor humor?
Dear God, yes, I did. I laughed so hard because that's how it feels. That's honestly how it feels. If you are in academia, if you are teaching undergrad, grad courses, or just, freelancing, it feels like that because you really like the stuff that you're talking about for the most part. I'm going to speak for myself. I mean, some people probably don't like whatever they're doing, but I get excited about talking about some of the more obscure parts of history, or even things about film or whatever.
What?
And there's sometimes, you've seen me. There's sometimes where students are sitting there and they're on their phone, on their computer, Facebook, Tinder, Grindr, whatever they happen to be doing, right? And you're just sitting there like
Farmers Only.
BlackPeopleMeet.com.
Yes, all those things. Speaking of which, when I got divorced, my students found out about it, and they immediately tried to create a BlackPeopleMeet.com page for me.
But you already had 3.
Hey, in fairness, anyway. The 4th one I made got shut down.
But anyway, what was awesome about this is that's the terrifying part about being in a college setting as an instructor at any level, whether you happen to be adjunct all the way to full professor, or even, probably even emeritus professors feel that same way. Where it's kind of like, I like the shit I'm talking about, and I want you to be excited about it too. And that disappointment that Bob has when it's all of his students are on their phones, Googling shit, asking each other for the links because they couldn't care less what he's talking about. It's kind of like, this is a class I need to take. I don't give a shit. This is the 50 minutes I have to be here. And you're probably grading according to attendance. So I have to be here. And if I'm going to be here, I'm going to make the best of it. But it's just great to see how disappointed he is and disheartened he is, to where it's kind of like, well, fuck it. Let me go back to killing this kid. So what did you guys think about this episode?
Thomas, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure. I liked it. The thing that really, I don't know if it was shocking or just surprising, but that scene where Lisa sees Bart in the basement and he's completely taken apart and disemboweled, and she's not freaked out by that.
Right? She's just like, aha!
Oh, there he is.
Bob did
in a million pieces. But it's like, if I saw anybody, like even somebody just missing a finger, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
What is it, boy? What is it, boy? Oh, Bart's been disemboweled.
But yeah, just the casualness of it, I guess, was what was shocking to me. And I love the throwaway line about how they convicted Jailbird of the murder.
Yeah.
Which, it sounds about right.
I knew it wasn't him.
But they've done this joke before where Bob can't kill Bart. They did a whole one like a My Fair Lady thing before of he's grown accustomed to his face and he can't bear to kill him. So to me, it was just kind of reiterating jokes they've already used, but it was enjoyable. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed watching it.
I think it's weird that I was reading that they had made a big deal out of how he was finally going to get to really kill Bart. And it's like, number one, this is a fucking Treehouse episode. But even if it wasn't, everything resets at the end of every Simpsons episode. So would it matter? And they made like this huge deal out of it. And then I'm like, and so then you took that and you killed him a whole bunch of times? That's kind of strange too. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, this is one of the ones I like more, but
you've got to appreciate even the humor behind the aspect of killing, because Sideshow Bob, once he does it, it's this whole showdown where Bart even says, "You can't kill me if you tried. You can't kill me if I put a bullseye on my head." And Sideshow Bob, shoots the spear gun at Bart, hits him in the chest, pulls out his heart, then pulls out his intestines, and then goes in the song and dance number. But he in this whole scene he pulls out a joke that works so well, but there's so much build up to it, because he says, after 24 years of trying to kill a 10-year-old boy, it finally paid off. And it's just one of those things that you sit there and you're like, it's another moment where the Simpsons is acknowledging what's been going on.
Yeah, I thought that was great. That's a fantastic fucking line. I would like to say, I think they should have renamed this episode Overkill. I think that would be a way better name for it.
But I even like how Homer, talked about how Lisa seems unfazed by this. Homer seems equally unfazed, but he seems proud because he's kind of like, oh, I can finally be sober at Bart's birth, when they figure out, they can reanimate and bring him back. And it just made me think, because they tried it out with like a lamp and a bunch of other things, of course, with Bob himself. If you had access to this, what would you reanimate? I mean, because it's obviously inanimate objects as well as animate objects.
I got this one.
Okay.
I would reanimate other people's dead animals without their permission and then give them to them as a gift.
Wow.
Well, that means you'd have a lot of digging to do, sir.
I mean, it's
a lot of work.
It depends if they knew that their animals were dead to begin with.
All right, Thomas.
The country is not doing too well, and I think I'd want to reanimate somebody who's going to bring it back to glory, which is why I've chosen to reanimate John McCain.
Well, that's interesting.
I don't know. I think it would be similar to James's, where not necessarily other people's pets, but perhaps mine.
Well, there you go.
That's kind of
I didn't know if it would work, so I figured I should start with other people's pets.
That's smart. What about you, Don?
I would reanimate one of my favorite cartoon. Oh, this is a different thing. I would. Oh, Jesus. There were like a bunch of toys and shit that I broke when I was a kid. I would probably reanimate them so they were still in mint condition to sell them.
Wow.
Right back into the box.
Yeah.
Doesn't Homer make an animation line? Like, I think it's Marge says something about reanimation, and he's like, but the animation is fine.
Was it on this episode or no?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, because they made a crack at the Korean animation a few seasons prior, and
Thomas is still mad about that.
They create a glitch intentionally to, again, make fun of themselves. But yeah, I like where this ends because it goes back to that whole idea of Bob not being able to fulfill his personal goals or his career goals. And when he is assembled in this weird hodgepodge of creatures, one of the students asks, like, what are you supposed to be? And he, referring to his appearance. And he responds with, I'm supposed to be a full professor, but the way that they do tenure here. And that itself, no matter how much you may know about the academic process or tenure line or tenure track position, that shit is hilarious. Because one, it like you were saying, with an earlier episode, that idea of you have that obvious joke that should be there, but then it goes to another direction, or you have the option to take it in a different direction. So, speaking of taking a different direction, the second act.
Oh, that's me.
HOMERZILLA.
HOMERZILLA. It starts off as a Godzilla parody, and it continues as a Godzilla parody until you realize that they are just filming a Godzilla movie, and then the network or studio execs decide, oh, we're going to rip this off, and we're going to make our own that's just overproduced and bad called Zilla. And there's a lot of product placement in it. And it's so bad that they decide to ditch the film at sea. So they dump it off the side of a boat, and it ends up waking up a real HOMERZILLA, and that's how it ends. I love Godzilla, and I thought it was fine the way they did it, although HOMERZILLA looked more like the swamp monster. I thought they could have done a better job with his art design. And I felt like those fake Japanese accents sounded more Eastern European or Russian, and it was overall just a little bit insensitive. But as somebody who's half Korean, I don't care about the Japanese, so I loved it.
Oh, man. They should have had Hank Azaria do it.
Oh, God.
But this one's pretty straightforward. Like, it's not... I like the story in the fake movie of Grandpa Simpson having to send out a donut to sea once a day to keep the monster happy. I thought that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this. I also liked how it kind of became like this weird satire about reboots.
Yes.
And I thought that was an interesting place to go. And I don't know, like, I feel like that part didn't get enough time to really hit its stride. Like, I thought they could have done more with that. But I liked that they even tried tackling it at all. I do love the line, you kind of alluded to it, but just the way it's actually phrased, I had to write it down because I liked it so much. So the key to this movie is, it's so cheap it's funny. Then think how popular it would be if we spent a fortune remaking it. And that sums everything up right there. Oh, this is the thing that makes it great? Let's do the opposite of that. I don't know. That's pretty fun.
The whole aspect of, indie films versus big budget films. In a lot of those small budget or indie films, you get much better quality because there's so little room to do anything. But when you've got these big budget movies, it almost seems like the more money that goes into it, the lower the quality in a lot of cases. Whether it happens to be story or, the acting, anything like that comes up. So it's a cool way to attack it. But I also like the idea that, this whole idea of reboot or the adaptations that you have, you don't get the new one until people are kind of like, until enough time has passed. So the Godzilla movie that came out in 97, 98 was complete dog shit. Like, it was horrible.
Godzilla 98.
It was so fucking horrible that when it came out, you knew how bad the movie was going to be by how many promotional items were attached to it. Like, I had a Godzilla cup holder for the door of my car. Like, they were giving shit away like that. It made no sense. Like, they were spending so much money on advertising and promotions and product placement that it almost became a gauge from that point on to determine how bad a movie was going to be. If it had that type of stuff in it, it was the movie was going to be horrible. But whether it's Spider-Man or Godzilla or any other franchise that has been rebooted and rebooted again, it's cool to see that sometimes there is this understanding of what they did wrong and trying to fix it. Like the new Godzilla movies and King Kong and all that stuff, great. The King Kong with Jack Black, holy fuck, they need to bury that one into the ocean as well. Just bad.
I liked Kong's Skull Island. I thought that one was fine.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Like that one's great. Like the way that they were able to focus on the quality of the film and the story. I mean, it's still a simple story. It's people going out on a rescue mission. Got this mysterious island. We don't know what the fuck is out here. And it's a creature feature and a disaster film at the same time. Or even
what I like about no, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say what I like about Godzilla in 1998 is not that Hank Azaria is in it, which is hilarious to me, but and I think Harry Shearer is in that too, isn't he?
I don't recall. I saw it one time and never bothered again.
I think Harry Shearer plays one of the people in like the newsroom, and Hank Azaria is the camera guy. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That Godzilla is terrible, and later on in a Japanese Godzilla movie, Godzilla kills that Godzilla from the 98 flick, which they just renamed Zilla, I think, which is funny because they called it Zilla in this too. But I always appreciated it just for that, because we got to see that Godzilla die after we hated it so much.
Yeah, the giant iguana.
Yeah, it was a large land lizard. It was so stupid looking.
Is this the same Godzilla that was in all the Taco Bell commercials?
Yes. We need a bigger box.
And yet Thomas hates him?
He ate all the Taco Bell. I didn't get to have any.
Oh, okay. I was like, I would think that would hurt you a little bit, but I can see how that works. Okay,
same with that stupid Chihuahua.
He ate Chihuahua? Oh, gosh.
I remember the ad very clearly. It was the Taco Bell Chihuahua sitting there with his hand on a rope, tied to a stick, holding up a box, saying, "Here, lizard, lizard, lizard. Here, lizard, lizard." And he sees Godzilla and then says, "Oh no, I think I'm going to need a bigger box." That will be etched in my memory because of all the product placement and marketing that was attached to it that, again, made no fucking sense.
But they did their job. You remember it, and I want Taco Bell now.
I remember it because the Taco Bell dog was awesome. I love the Taco Bell dog.
I'm going to run out and get some cheesy potatoes and a Mexican pizza.
Oh,
let's talk about our favorite 90s fast food mascots.
Oh, man.
Because while we're talking about the Taco Bell Chihuahua, I want to know if you guys remember McDonald's Eddie the Echo.
Eddie the Echo.
Do you recall Eddie the Echo?
I remember the Hamburglar and Mayor McCheese, and
I remember that dude that was a moon and flew around places. That was weird.
Yeah, Mac the Knight.
Oh, so many good characters. Eddie the Echo was an actual person. It wasn't like an animated thing. It was a guy who would go by McDonald's, and then he would just say everything he said twice. That's why they called him Eddie the Echo. It'd be like, "Oh, I want a cheeseburger. I want a cheeseburger." It was so stupid, but it's so ingrained in my memory.
Did you steal this from Goodfellas?
Maybe, I don't know.
Jimmy 2 Times is the greatest ever, but jeez.
But the thing that always irked me the most is I think the last one they ran, he meets a girl, and she also speaks in echoes. And she's like, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" And he says, "Walla Walla," which it should have been Walla Walla, Walla Walla. And it drove me fucking nuts as like a 10-year-old. Like, come on, guys. We're not following him. There's no place called Walla on its own. Like,
right.
I also enjoyed the Noid. Avoid the Noid. He ruins people.
Oh, yeah. I liked the Noid.
The commercials with the Noid were pretty fun. God, I don't... 90s mascots.
And that doesn't include the Hootie and the Blowfish Burger King commercials.
Oh my God.
Although I love those.
I'm still terrified of the Burger King himself. Does that count?
Well, that was 2000s, right? When
I don't have a concept of time.
That was 2000. So I would say we're saying favorite, right?
It could be something memorable, effective advertising. My point is that you remember it.
God, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to forget. But
can I go with the California raisins?
Sure.
Damn it.
Were raisins dessert in your house?
No.
Raisins were punishment.
Definitely.
Did they put them in your potato salad?
Oh.
Wow.
I got an almond croissant not long ago, and it had raisins in it, and I literally gagged and threw it across the room.
Did you pick it up?
No, I left it there. It doesn't deserve to be touched.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Maybe like the Little Caesars guy, but again, I don't know what year that was. Just he's a cute little drunk.
Pizza.
The Dunkin' Donuts guy. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be 90s because he started around the 80s, but I know he really got out there in the 90s and I guess with more promotions and stuff. I mean, if we're speaking of fast food.
I don't know that one. We don't have Dunkin', or we didn't for the longest time on the West Coast, so we didn't get the ads for it.
Yeah, we missed out on the Busted Nut Corn Nuts commercials in the Midwest, so I just listen to them now.
Those ones are good.
We should make them a fucking sponsor and not even tell them. Just play their stuff because it's amazing.
Works for me.
We already have your download numbers. Everybody should just click this off and go listen to that right now. But
we're way off track.
Well, let me bring it back. I will talk about Telepaths of Glory. So I believe I'm the only one here that's seen Chronicle, correct?
Yes, you are.
I love Chronicle.
I remember the trailer for it and thinking, that doesn't look very good.
So Bart, Lisa, and Milhouse are walking along, and Bart scares Lisa with dead owls, as one does. And she freaks out and hits Milhouse in the head with a camera. He falls down a hole, and then this really annoying joke takes place where he falls for way too long.
Right.
They find some radioactive goo at the bottom, and in unusual Simpsons foreshadowing, Bart says that's the same stuff Dad has at home. And, so they all get superpowers, and Milhouse goes crazy with power. And skip ahead a little bit. He gets struck by lightning. Lisa says it wasn't her. We find out it was Maggie, because Maggie has been sucking on a radioactive rod, not the kid next door, but the stuff that Homer has in the house.
God damn it.
And then she turns HOMERZILLA into Barney, and Kodos and Kang show up, and for some fucking reason, talk about going from 16:9 to 4:3, and they make a comment that just because it looks like season 4 doesn't make it season 4. And this ending is really fucking weird for me, but I kind of liked how it just kept going with the skit, like it sort of worked and sort of didn't, and I don't know, but wasn't the worst ending I've seen.
I thought the ending made it worthwhile. I like this isn't season 4 joke. I like all of the little things Maggie was doing, whether it was like the ring game or making French people not assholes. I thought that was pretty funny. The whole putting a shirt on Putin was, it's still a relevant thing. Yep. I thought it was funny to start it off as a Milhouse gag and then run out of Milhouse things to do, so they just switched to Maggie. Because they go through both of like Milhouse's catchphrases, and then it's like, okay, well now what? And then it's just Maggie, the rest of it.
Well, and Milhouse finally gets power. Like we've spent 20 some years with Milhouse always being the one to take the brunt of everything. Finally gets power and a baby takes him out. I mean, that's kind of funny.
Hey, the house always wins.
Not that house.
Yeah, greedy Milhouse.
Everything's coming up Milhouse. I was hoping he would change his name to Thrill House.
Oh, man, with a sidekick named Radioactive Rod.
Ugh.
I worked really hard on that joke. Thanks for
I really liked it. It was funny. Don, did you like this one?
I have. The co-host formerly known as Don is not on this episode right now. This part of the episode worked for me because it tackles that same thing that you see in movies like Chronicle. I mean, I remember the trailer and I've seen bits and pieces, but not the whole thing. But it tackles that whole thing of or the whole issue as to what people would do if they were given power. And it's the same thing with money. People often say things like, oh, money changes people. Money doesn't change people. Money reveals who you are and who you've been all this entire time. And I think the same thing could be said with, superpowers or telepathy or telekinesis or anything like that. It's going to reveal who you really are. Movies like Glimmerman, that's Steven Seagal. Whatever the movie was with Kevin Bacon, where he becomes invisible. It reveals who he really is, because you think, oh, he's this guy who's a scientist or whatever, and he has the ability to become naked. He ends up raping a woman because he can, according to his own set of morals. Like, no one's going to know it was me, so who's going to stop me? And I think that's the great thing about Milhouse, or at least the joke with Milhouse here. He gets power and gets corrupted by it because he's such a meek, kind of whipping boy throughout the show. And now that he's got the power, it's kind of like, is he going to use it for something good, like Lisa's going to use it for, benevolent acts? But Milhouse is given that chance, and he becomes a shittier person, or a shitty person. And I think the cool thing is that Bart doesn't get any of the powers because we know what he would do with it.
That's true. We do. It is kind of nice that it doesn't become the Bart show of Bart being the powerful asshole here.
Yeah, then he and Lisa facing off, in some powerful display of superpowers or whatever whatever showdown you would end up having. So, out of all these things, out of any of these superpowers, this of course is going to be that kind of obligatory question to ask.
I'd like to have a radioactive rod.
Jesus Christ. All right,
look, honey, it's growing again.
Sorry, what's the question?
If you were to have any superpower or any type of ability, what would it be?
Oh, flight. I hate walking. I hate running. I just want to fly somewhere. That's how I feel about it.
I'm so lazy I don't even want to do that. I want to fucking teleport.
I like the journey.
Flying seems like a lot of work. Things could happen on the way. I better just teleport.
I think I would. I mean, there are a lot of different options, but I'd either go with the powers of Wolverine, with the regenerative abilities or something like that, or the Hulk, or I guess the Bruce Banner Hulk situation, to where you can, if you need to, you can just become a radioactive person, including your rod.
Hulk smash.
God damn you.
This concludes another episode of the Necronama.com with James Sabata, Don Guillory, and Thomas Sexbot Brungardt.